Hey guys and girls, we're going to do another little surprise. We got a surprise coming up. Surprise is for Apache. Actually, yeah, we've been surprising Chris with things. So we got a surprise for Apache. He knows absolutely nothing about it. You know me, I love to open boxes. I love to open boxes. Sometimes people send me boxes to open where we can show you all something that's new and give you all some insights about it and maybe give you a discount if you want to buy one. Sometimes I just buy a lot of stuff at Bass Pro and I open the boxes. I just love open boxes, even if I know what's going in it. But if I don't know what's in it, it's really cool. So I love surprises, and I love to surprise other folks with stuff. And we got a great surprise for Apache. Y'all are not going to want to miss this. I'm going to give him a call because the surprise just arrived. Okay, Apache showed up here. So we got a big job to do, Apache. Yeah, before we get started on the job, I want to show you something. By the way, the water pressure is pretty low right now. It was low last night. I checked to see if he left the water on.
I just fixed a leak yesterday.
No, well, they were both open, but it was closed down there. So I closed these, but then I went down there and noticed it was already closed. So it wasn't running.
Yeah. I bet it's I checked.
That's just going to be trash right there. Yeah. But Nelly. He don't want to play. The big job's over here. I want to show you. Come on over here in the other building that we got to do. Yep. I don't know how long this job will take. It'll probably take a long time to get done.
Come in here, you're gonna open the door.
Go ahead and open that door. All right, come here. Come here. I want to show you what problem we got. Yeah, open that door. I'm behind door number 1. What in the world?
Oh, I know.
A new ranch mule for Apache to drive.
My goodness.
I've been cooking this up for a while, Apache, but we hadn't been able to get mules. What do you think?
Nice.
Nice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All you got to do is get a lot of work done out of it and keep it clean and keep it serviced. You need any filters or anything, just call Sherry and she'll get them from Jamie, and one of the filters and oil and all that. Come check it out. Jamie's going to go through it with you. What do you think? You like it?
Yeah.
Got it? We kind of, yeah, I talked to Steve about it the other day, and he said, do we need one? And I said, the one that Apache's been driving is at least over 20 years old. I had it when we bought the ranch over 20 years ago, and I told him what kind of deal we might be able to get on it, and I said, if you don't want to buy it for the ranch, I'll just buy it and loan it to the ranch. And he said, now if you think we need it, we'll buy it. The ranch will buy it. So Steve's in on it too. It's a ranch mule, but there you go. Jamie's going to go through it with you and show you everything on it, like he would if he'd do any other customer. And we're going to run through everything, but take a look at it and see what you think.
Yeah.
We could have got a green one or a white one, a black and white or a black and green. So let's get the white one and be a little different. So it looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
All right, you think that's pretty good? You think you get some work done in that?
Yes, sir. Nice.
It's very nice. I looked at them the other day up at the store. We haven't been able to get mules in at all, and finally we're able to start getting a few in. And we had a couple of these single seaters, and plenty of room for you and one of your girlfriends in there. Maybe room for 2 of your girlfriends in there. I don't know. Not sure about that. But anyway. All right. Well, Jamie's going to run through everything and show you what all everything is. All right, Jamie, you can go through Apache just kind of like you would with a customer that come in and bought this mule. I'm sure that he knows everything. He's been driving one of these for years, and it's probably not a whole lot different, but you can go ahead and go through with him and show him everything that this mule's got on it.
Right,
this mule retails for about $12,800.
Yeah, this one is what they call their fleet edition, which is black and white, and they put the white front on it. Of course, they're marketing towards companies or whatever where they can put their decaling on the front on the white.
Right.
It's white. 2 or 3 things on the fleet edition. It adds, of course, the white. It's got orange seat belts because that way.
I saw the orange seat belt on there.
Supervisor, or whatever, can look and see if you got it on. Of course, the roof comes part of the fleet edition. All the fleet editions are keyed alike. So if you had 20 of them at a job site, and they're all the same key would start it, and then a horn. So those are these are like $300 higher than a regular 4010, and that's what that $300 adds to it. Probably the biggest
Jamie,
thing.
even these smaller mules, single seat, and they still have power steering?
This 2-passenger mule has power steering, yeah.
Right, okay. 2 passengers,
Yeah.
that what you call it.
I have to call it because, some people call it a single seat, meaning a single bench seat.
Right,
or
I
a
understand.
single passenger.
I understand.
I refer to it as passenger.
Yeah.
So I want a 2-passenger. So, okay, no, I want a 2-bench seat.
Right, 2 seats, yeah.
It's just a matter of...
I like the 2 seats because somebody's always wanting to go for a ride. Okay.
Anyway, I always just start at the front. Got the, may not need it here, kind of right, but the boot guards down here on either end. Watch out there, dog. I'm going to keep an eye on those. Periodically check those. Those are sealed. They've got grease inside of them. I always tell folks occasionally run your hand around. If you get grease on your hand, you've got a hole in it. So you need to repair that. A lot of people don't check them till they start hearing a popping. It's too late. By then, you've damaged the CV shaft. You got to replace that whole shaft. And it's about 3 times what just a boot costs to replace that. They do make some guards on that. The current mule that he's got has those. We're going to pull those off and put on there. It helps protect them. Doesn't make them bulletproof, but the biggest thing that happens is sticks get poked in those.
Okay.
And just check them periodically. Of course, it is a liquid-cooled unit, radiator in the front, fan-driven. Just periodically check to make sure that drive-through pasture stuff, hay seeds, that type of stuff, not in it.
He drives them out in the woods a lot, in the fields a lot.
We'll work from there. All right, coolant bottles right here. Like I said, it is liquid cooled. You got a sight glass here. Periodically check it. It is vented so it can't evaporate. So summertime's the worst. And just regular green antifreeze there. This cap here will come out and give you access to your radiator cap. Don't ever pull the radiator cap because you'll introduce air with it running. You'll introduce air into the system and you'll have to bleed it out.
And other than that, this is good size storage box.
One thing on the storage here, a lot of people do. You can see that's moving here, and that catches there. A lot of people, I think what they do is they'll kind of slightly push forward when they push it down. That latch gets on the wrong side of those. Now this part's different than the mule you've got now, isn't it? Because it's got the whole hood that opens up.
Right.
That'll get on the wrong side of that latch and get right there. And so then you got to take the screws out to open it up and then fiddle that. What I always tell folks is kind of pull it back towards you a little bit before you push it down. That way those latches get on the right side of that release right there.
And once that's latch, it's latch.
Yeah.
Right.
On that, one other thing in here. This one here gives you access to the brake master cylinder, which just like the 3010, you got the little sight glass there. If you lay your ear down, you can see it in there. Check your brake fluid level. You may not be able to see it from that side because it's that direction there. Like I said, that's real similar. The brake, just like your 3010. Got a few more lights on here. Engine oil temperature, engine temperature, parking brake light, fuel injection light, power steering light. They're all going to power up when you turn it on. Make sure the bulbs are good, just like in a car. Then they'll go off. Now that one will go off once you get power up. Oil pressure. Any of those lights come on while you're running it, you need to get it in for service. Of course, your parking brake light, it'll only light up when the parking brake's on. This one does have a horn where yours doesn't. You got your...
He needs a horn. Get the deer out of the way.
There you go. Your light switch, headlights, they're only on when the key's on. This is a little different than yours. It's the hour meter and a fuel gauge, where your fuel gauge is on top of the tank, I think, if I remember correctly. Still has to be in neutral to start. 2-wheel, 4-wheel drive selectable. Front diff right here. You can be stopped at idle speed anytime you switch any levers. And most of the time you'll be in 2-wheel drive up in the lawn picking up sticks. That way only one wheel's pulling so it doesn't tear up your grass. That will lock both rear wheels or excuse me, that'll lock one rear wheel, both front wheels. That one locks both rear wheels for true four-wheel drive. Of course, you got storage on both sides. Do have 2 keys. One's in the packet here. Always tell folks to put one up, and that way when you lose one, you'll have another one. You can get another key for about 15 bucks if you lose it. Or we have a lot of people who don't want to wait and they'll buy a new ignition switch when they haven't. They've lost both of them and don't have another one. They buy an ignition switch for about 100 bucks because they don't want to wait. Continuing on under here. Of course, the air intake system's up here. It's breathing fresh air. One side's pulling in for the engine itself. That side there, and this side's pulling in. Apache, if you get the latch there on that, we'll raise this bed.
Dump bed.
But yeah, the air intake for the engine's on that side. Comes down, goes through there. This one is where it's pulling air to keep the drive belt, the CVT belt, cool. Pulls it through, comes out. Always tell folks.
The fans still come on to cool it also?
The fan's up front.
Yeah.
This is just cooling the belt.
Right. Oh, okay.
It's just built in, just like a lawnmower.
Right.
There's a little fan built in for the pulley. Always tell folks you let it set. Of course, this one won't set much, but I've had lots of customers that mice, chipmunks, or whatever, they like to crawl up in there and deposit acorns, and that's where the air comes out.
Pecans.
You ever start it up? It sounds like popcorn. That's probably what happened. Got a few customers, they'll take screen and put over that with a hose clamp to keep critters from building nests in there on that. Of course, you got an air cleaner in that box there for the engine. Got an air cleaner right here for the CVT belt. I kind of jumped out of turn there. The dipstick on this one's right there on the side, where the one you've got's under the seat.
Yeah.
So it's right there. One thing I like to tell folks, when you do check the oil periodically, the oil you take off the dipstick, put around the rubber on it when you put it back in. That way it don't stick to it, because it happens a lot. It doesn't get checked much, and it'll stick to that metal, and you got to pull it out and pull the rubber off of it.
It's a good idea right there. It's a pretty nice little tip, isn't it?
Yeah.
Use that oil for something positive.
You bet.
Instead of just wipe it on your pants.
Engine oil fills right here. Fuel pumps here. There is a filter on the bottom of that. It's different than the 3010 you got. It's just a little small filter. Typically, a lot of depends how well you take care of your gas. Folks that really maintain their gas tanks or whatever, you usually get about 250 hours out of that filter. People who just put their tank in the back of the truck or whatever, and gets a lot of crap in it, maybe 100 hours.
Take Apache a whole month to get drive 250 hours.
But let's see, of course, battery's located here. You drive it every day, so batteries will stay good and charged. We always tell folks, have a lot of people get it. They may drive it on the weekends because they're on the lake. We have a lot of lake houses that have them. But it's recommended you charge it once a month overnight on a 2 amp or less charger. Even though it does have a charging output, and it does charge it that way, because it more or less will maintain a charge. It's not like your car where you can jump it with it's a dead battery.
Right.
Drive it 10 miles, it's pretty well charged up. We'll tell folks charge it once a month on that. All your fuses located here. This is a fan fuse. I do see sometimes, once again, one that sets, dirt daubers get up in there in that fan and just locks it and won't let it spin. Mud, people off-roading, mud gets up in there and it'll trip that fuse right there. Just one thing, 12-volt power supply right here. Cell phone chargers, spotlights. Times are changing somewhat, but we always told people if your spotlight's got a glass lens, it'll probably blow the fuse. Plastic lens, spotlights, no issues. So many spotlights are LED now, that's kind of a mute point because they don't draw the power. But you put a big old, real powerful spotlight in there, it could blow your main fuse, which is located underneath there. Turn that off. It is fuel injected, whereas yours carbureted, so no choke. Yeah. You can just fire it right up. Tire pressure, there's a sticker right here. People always forget the tire pressures. 10 on the front, 24 on the back. Okay. Big thing we see a lot, people overinflate their tires. and the tires are part of your suspension. These mules aren't built for a smooth ride, they're workhorses. So, I mean, if you go full tilt 24 mile an hour across the field, it's probably going to buck you out most pastures. But that's part of your suspension. Another thing, airing them up too tight, drive through a brush hog field, no stobs that are left, they'll poke a hole in the tire. And if proper inflation, that tire will give some. Not saying you can't poke a hole in the tire, but that tire will give.
10 on the front, 24 on the back?
Right. I mean, we've seen them come in, they'll have like 40 pounds in them, you know, and it does give you a little more clearance.
Who does that, Jimmy Houston?
I don't know. Right here, everything here has to do with the fuel injection. These are governed at 24 mile an hour. A lot of people take the little rivets out and jack with the governor on them, trying to gain more speed. These aren't built for speed, they're built to work. And really the only way you can attain more speed is make them rev higher than they're built to, and they will shell. And you get to jacking with stuff in there, since it's fuel injected, sensors in there, it throws everything out of whack and starts running bad.
24 mile an hour fast enough, Apache?
Yeah. Better than walking there. The yellow, what's the light down here? The yellow screw on the rear end there, that's the rear end oil. Check it periodically. It's got a dipstick on it. You see it back there.
I see it. I got it in there. I see it.
Right there. Really, about the only thing under here, one nice thing about these, if you do it right, when you get done with that, you lay that down on there, and the next time you go to open it, things will fall right down into place there.
Got a latch on both sides.
Bed capacity, that's a question. They do put you a decal up here, 800 pounds. That at a haul, which is quite a bit.
That's a mighty big deer.
And if you're hauling gravel...
800 pounds, that's about 363 kilograms.
Probably so.
Yeah, that's about right. I'm just ciphering in my head.
Thought you had a bunch of gravel in the back of your truck, you're going to do that. I always tell folks, I wouldn't fill it more than about halfway up, just because the pivot point's so far back. That way it makes it easier to dump. Otherwise, it'll be
I've had to load them, can't get them dumped hardly. Hard to lift up.
Most times you say, you know, they're back, they're not too bad on that. It does come with a full-size receiver hitch on the back. So the receiver hitch off most pickups, of course, they make one size larger on some trucks.
That's an upgrade. They used to be the small ones.
Used to be the small one. And then towing capacity, due to 110 pounds tongue weight and 1,200 pound towing capacity, and that includes the trailer.
Okay.
So you don't want to put a big flatbed loaded at hay, it's probably going to over exceed that. But most lawn trailers and stuff are moving an empty boat trailer around. That works satisfactory. For that, of course, does have brake lights. That's one other thing that some people mention. You see no lights there, but it does have brake lights. So got brakes.
Yep.
Come on. So.
Both got bulbs in them even.
Tail lights.
Yep.
As well. That's really about the spiel. First service at 50 hours. Next service is every 250 after that. So first service at 50, 300, 550, so forth.
Okay, Apache, you got your new set of wheels running around in, man.
They're nice.
I like it. I like it myself. Yeah, I might have to borrow it. Nice, very nice. Okay, guys and gals, was that fun? It was that fun. You know, just to tell you how tough a mule is, you know, the ranchers and farmers and guys that use side-by-side vehicles like that day in and day out and put a lot of hours on them, and pretty much all use a Kawasaki Mule brand. There's a lot of the good brands out there. Everybody makes a lot better side-by-sides. Every single year they get better, as a matter of fact. But just to give you an idea, in the month of April, I think April 1 or March 31, 20 years ago is when we bought this place. I had that mule at the time, and so that mule has lasted I mean, a long, long time. I mean, and it's got, I don't know how many hours on it, and it's still running, it's still doing fine. We'll take that back to the shop, go through it a little bit, and sell it to somebody as a used mule. But these things are tough. They're built to work. As Jamie mentioned a few times in there, they're not built for speed, not to go out there and hot dog around. 24 miles an hour is what the governor set on. But they're built to work. They're built to haul stuff, to pull stuff, to get things unstuck, to drive up and down mountains and down in valleys and go through mud and stuff like that. They are built to work. They're work machines. They call them a mule for a purpose. And we've got them in now, Jimmy Houston Kawasaki and the Marine. We've got mules in stock. We had a long period of time there when we had a great big giant waiting list. And when we get 1 or 2 mules in, we'd call the first person on that list, and they would either say they wanted, they'd take one of those that we had and come and get it, and we'd have to wait on another 1 or 2 to come in. But we do finally, they've got caught up a little bit from the pandemic shortages that we all experienced in so many ways. And so we do have mules in stock. So if you're looking for a new mule, 1-seater, 2-seater, I call them 4-passenger and 2-passenger is what I call them. But obviously we haul 6 in ours a lot down here. 3 in the front, 3 in the back seat. But if you need a new mule, give Jimmy a call at Jimmy Houston Kawasaki and Marine. And I'm telling you, they're just absolutely fantastic. And this has been a lot of fun. Great surprise for Apache. He's got a new mule to drive around in the ranch and absolutely get a lot more work done. Remember, guys and girls, I sure do love you.